This is another in a series of training videos produced by the Division I coordinators of college football. Our subject in this video is blocking below the waist. I'm Jim Jackson, coordinator of football officiating for the Ohio Valley Conference. The Rules Committee made changes to blocking below the waist rules for 2016. We'll deal with those changes later in this video. Let's begin with a discussion of what has not changed about these rules. Players from either team are prohibited from blocking below the waist except against the ball carrier on any free kick play. This player is going to be blocked below the waist by a member of the receiving team. This is always a foul. Our next play is also a free kick. A member of the kicking team takes out the lead blocker below the waist. This is also a foul. Members of the punting team may not block below the waist from the snap. No players can block below the waist after a change of team possession. Here we have a personal protector on a punt play. Who blocks below the waist. That's a foul. Note that what makes it a foul is the kind of play it is. Had the punter passed the ball, this block would be legal, but since he kicked it, this is a kick play, foul. Members of the defense may block below the waist only in an area 5 yards on either side of the line of scrimmage, sideline to sideline. In this play, you can see we're snapping just outside the 40-yard line, so we'll put a line down 5 yards from there. And we'll take a look at this block from this player. Takes out the lead blocker below the waist. It looks to be exactly at 5 yards. What we need to do, if in question this is a player safety issue, this is a foul. We should also note that this block is definitely a foul at the 30-yard line and not at the 40-yard line. It's difficult to officiate this rule. It's also difficult to teach the player what he should do. It's very difficult for the player to know how far downfield he is too. Another aspect of the rule that has not changed is that the defense may not block an eligible receiver below the waist beyond the neutral zone. We'll take a look at this linebacker. Who stumbles and as a last gasp hit this receiver below the waist. This is still a foul. Once the ball has left the tackle box, no member of the offense may block below the waist toward his own goal line. This also has not changed. Ball is out of the tackle box. 62 blocks below the waist. Could be a clip, don't you think? But certainly it is toward his own goal line and therefore foul. We'll lose sight of 62 for a brief moment. There he is. Back toward his own goal line, foul. Once the ball has left the tackle box, all blocks below the waist must be from the front. This is where the 10-to-2 concept comes into play. Watch the right tackle. Ball's outside the tackle box. There's a block below the waist. Does not come from the front, this is a foul. Here's another offensive lineman that blocks below the waist. The ball is outside the tackle box. Therefore, this block needs to be from the front. We'll highlight him here. That block is not from the front, does not meet the 10-2 requirement. That is a foul. That is also back toward the original position of the ball. And at the time of the block, the ball was not clearly beyond the neutral zone. Now let's turn our attention to those things that have changed for 2016. The biggest change is the removal of language of a low blocking zone, which in 2015 was defined as 7 yards on either side of the football and 5 yards into the defensive backfield. In 2016, restrictions are based on the tackle box, which by definition is 5 yards on either side of the football and ends at the neutral zone. This effectively makes more players restricted regarding blocking below the waist, and specifically by interpretation, the tight end is always restricted regardless of how close the splits are between offensive linemen in the tackle box. Restricted players may block below the waist only if the block is from the front, 10-2, and it is not back toward the original position of the ball. Stationary players inside the tackle box at the snap may block below the waist in any direction inside the tackle box as long as the ball has not left the tackle box. Once the ball leaves the tackle box, all players on the offense become restricted. Note that a crackback block, one toward the original position of the ball at the snap, is illegal by any member of the offense until the ball has clearly passed the line of scrimmage. At that point, the crackback block must conform to the 10-2 axiom and be in the front of the player being blocked. Let's look at a few plays to illustrate these points. Here we have a lineman more than 5 yards from the football at the snap, therefore he is restricted. This block must be 10-2 and not toward the original position of the ball. That was toward the original position of the ball and is a foul. Similar play, we have a back who is outside the tackle box at the snap. He is restricted. This block cannot be toward the original position of the ball. That's a foul. Next, we have a lineman more than 5 yards from the football. Restricted. Block must be from the front. It is not. That's a foul. Next, we have a back outside the tackle box. Restricted means any block needs to be from the front and not back toward the original position of the ball. Regardless of the fact that the ball was in the tackle box, that block was a foul. Back toward the original position of the ball and was not 10-2. Foul.